Hi, guys. It's Miss Helene. Hope you're all doing well. Had a nice weekend, stayed nice and warm. It was very cold outside this weekend, but I remembered my hat and my mittens and my coat, and I was nice and warm when I went outside. So, today I'm going to start our lesson with a story. I just thought it would be nice to read a story. I found one that I liked and that we can listen to together. And then we'll do a little work together and have some fun. Okay, ready? I think I'm getting better at this. Lots of practice.
Hello, boys and girls. Today we will be reading One Winter's Day. The author of our story is M. Christina Butler, and the illustrator is Tina McNatton.
He looks very cold. I'm glad that he's wearing his hat and his scarf and his mittens.
Little Hedgehog was making his bed for the winter when a sudden gust of wind blew him off his feet. It took hold of his cozy nest and tossed it high into the air. Little Hedgehog trembled as the wind whistled around him, and he wondered what to do. He caught hold of his scarf, hat, and mittens before they blew away and tried to find shelter under the tree roots, but wherever he went, the wind blew there as well. I'll have to stay with Badger until the storm has gone, he said at last, pulling his woolly hat firmly over his prickles. Then he snuggled into his cozy scarf, put on his mitts, and with a deep breath, he set off. The wind was even stronger in the meadow. Leaves swirled here and there, and snowflakes filled the air. Little Hedgehog hadn't gone far when he bumped into a family of field mice shivering in the long grass. I've never known such a storm, squeaked Mother Mouse. The wind has blown our nest away, and my poor babies are so cold. My home has blown away as well, said Little Hedgehog. I'm on my way to stay with Badger, but I have just the thing to warm you up. And he took off his woolly hat and gave it to the mice. Ooh, lovely, lovely, they squeaked, snuggling down out of the wind. Thank you, Little Hedgehog. Little Hedgehog tucked his nose inside his scarf and ran alongside the racing river. Otter was on the bank, puffing and puffing on his paws. Hello, Otter, shouted Little Hedgehog. What are you doing? Oh, hello, Hedgehog, replied Otter. My fur coat keeps me warm, but my paws are freezing. Here, have these, said Little Hedgehog, giving Otter his mittens. They should do the trick. Thank you, Little Hedgehog, said Otter. These are great. But shouldn't you be at home in this cold weather? I have no home any more, Little Hedgehog replied sadly. The wind has blown it away.
Aw.
And running on, he cried, I'm going to stay with Badger. By the time Little Hedgehog reached the woods, the snow was getting deeper. On he struggled, picking his way between the snowdrifts as the wind howled around him. A mother deer and her fawn were sheltering in the bushes. Oh, Little Hedgehog, why aren't you in your nest in this awful storm? She asked. So Little Hedgehog told Mother Deer about his nest blowing away, but as he spoke, he saw that the little fawn was shaking with cold. Here, take this, he said, giving the fawn his scarf. How kind are you, said Mother Deer. Thank you, Little Hedgehog. Little Hedgehog pattered on, faster and faster, but just as he finally saw Badger's house at the bottom of the hill, he skidded on the icy path. Help! He cried as he went bumping and bouncing through the
Oh,
snow.
no.
Badger was making tea when he heard a big thud outside. Whatever was that? He cried, dropping his toast. When he opened the door, a prickly snowball rolled in. Gracious me, he said in a surprise. It's a little hedgehog. Badger carried Little Hedgehog to an armchair by the fire and gave him a cup of tea. Little Hedgehog told Badger about his journey through the storm, and then, cozy and warm, he fell fast asleep.
Hmm.
Little Hedgehog stayed with Badger until the storm had gone. As they walked to where his house had been, Little Hedgehog was very worried. How can I build a strong nest if all the leaves and twigs have blown away and there's nothing left? He asked anxiously. I'll help you, said Badger kindly. We're nearly there now. Surprise! Came the cry, and they turned the corner. Little Hedgehog gasped with delight. The animals he'd met in the storm had made him the coziest nest he had ever seen. For the kindest hedgehog in the world, they all cried together. All right, boys
That
and
was
girls, I hope you
so
enjoyed this reading.
nice. What good friends that he made. And he was such a good sharer. Wasn't that very nice of him? Stop sharing. That was so nice of him to share his hat and his scarf and his mittens. And then look what they did for him in return. They made him a new home. That was a really nice book. I really like that story. I hope that you did too. Okay, so noises. I have this big box, bin, I should say, and there are things inside. This is called a sensory bin. And inside, there are things that we can play with using our hands. And we have to look for certain things so that we can find magic. Okay, so I have a special paper hung up on here. And this is a picture of all different winter scenes. There's the water, there's ice, there's snow and snow mountains. And in my special bucket, I have animals that live somewhere on this paper. And the animals have a number. So we have to match the number to see, do they live on the snowy hill or in the very cold water or maybe on the icy beach? I don't know. So I have special claws. They're gonna dig deep. Let's see what we can find. You can use your hands. Nice. And let's see. I'm going to find this one. What kind of animal is this? It looks like a wolf or a fox, a snowy fox. Let's see, where do you think the snowy fox might live? Do you think he lives in the water, the icy cold water, or on the snowy mountains? What number do you say? Number 2. So let's find number 2. This fox lives on the snowy mountain. Okay, ready? I'm gonna mix it up with my hands. Mix, mix, mix. And then let's dig on in to see what we can find. What kind of animal is this? I wouldn't want to get stuck seeing him. Looks like a shark. Do you think the shark lives on the icy beach, on the snowy mountains, or in the cold water? What number do you say? Number 1. Let's find and match number 1. In the cold water. Good job. Okay, I'm gonna mix and mix and mix with my fingers, mixing. Ready? I'm gonna use my special claws to see what I can find. Oh, here's one. Actually, 2. I'm gonna pick this one. Let's see. What kind of animal is that? That's a reindeer, right? Like Santa Claus has his reindeer pull his sleigh. What number do you say? The number 3. Good job. Do you think he lives in the water, on the snowy mountains, or on the icy beach? Let's see if we can match the number 3. Number 3 on the snowy mountains next to the fox. That looks right to me. Okay, I'm mixing and mixing, and I don't see any more. So I'm gonna dig deep. Let's see what I can find. Where is, oh, here's one. Ready? Let me see. What kind of animal is this? A walrus. Look at those tusks. Where do you think a walrus might live? The snowy mountains, the icy water, or maybe the cold beach. Let's look for the number. Number 4. Oh, he kind of lives in the water and on the icy beach, right? Right. Okay, I'm mixing up. Let's see. Just a second. Where? Do we match? Okay. Looking and looking. And mixing and mixing. Oops, some of my beans fell out, so I'm going to put them back inside. Let's see what animal we can find. Here we go. Oh, we saw this animal before. It's a snowy fox. And look what number he has. Number 5. So this snowy fox's friend lives on the snow mountain and on the icy beach. They don't live in the water, no, but they can live on the icy beach or in the snowy mountain. Pretty cool, huh? I think so. So I am going to close up, put my magic claws inside, and put this away. Listen to a pop. Pop. You want to make sure it's closed nice and tight because you don't want all these beans all over the floor. No siree, that would not be fun. Okay, dokey. All right. So the next thing that I had that I thought would be fun is called sequencing. Does anybody know what sequencing means? It means the order of telling a story. So I have a story about a boy building a snowman, but it doesn't look like it's in the right order. So we have to figure out which part of the story comes first. Take this off, because that was fun. We don't need to do that anymore. And we're going to take this paper. Yep, there's our snowman, remember? Oh, comes right off. And I'm going to put this paper sideways like this so that we can see. I'll put a little piece of tape on this side so it doesn't fall. So we first need to figure out what part of the story comes first. Then what part of the story comes second, third, and fourth, or last. Okay, so here are our 4 pictures. This little boy is building a snowman. So in the first picture, his name is Jordan. Jordan puts pieces of coal and a carrot on the snowman. Does that sound like first? This one says Jordan makes a big snowball. This one. This one says Jordan puts a hat, a scarf, and sticks on the snowman. And this one says Jordan puts 2 smaller snowballs on top of the big snowball. So let's see, we need to figure out which picture comes first. So do we put eyes and a nose and a mouth on first? No, you can't do that. The first thing you have to do is start building your snowman, right? So I think this one, Jordan makes a big snowball, is number 1. Okay, so let's put it down here. Number 1. Now, what do you think is next? Does he put his eyes and his nose on the snowman? Well, is there a body? No, we need to find the picture that has a body. So here's a picture with a body, but he has his hat and his arms already. So that can't be it. Now look at this one. Jordan puts 2 smaller snowballs on top. This one looks like he's making his body. So this one would go next. Number 2. Okay, so now, is he putting his eyes and his nose and his face on? Or is he putting his hat and his scarf on? Which one do you think comes next? I think the face comes next, right? Makes sense. Can't really get all dressed up without having your face on first, right? And the last picture is the snowman all dressed in his hat. So now let's see if we read the story. Ready? Here's first. Jordan makes a big snowball. Jordan puts 2 smaller snowballs on top of the big snowball. Jordan puts a piece of coal and then a carrot on the snowball. And Jordan puts a hat and a scarf and sticks to finish the snowman. Does that seem like it goes in the right order? I think so, right? I do. Okay, I have one more. Ready? Let's put one more together. I'm going to put them on my paper so that we can read them and see what order they might go in. Okay, so we're done with Jordan and his snowman. Let's see the next one. Ready? Got to put it in order, don't forget. So let's read the pictures. The first one says, the elf puts the pieces of the rocking horse together. Next is, the elf hammers nails into the pieces. The next one says, the elf has finished building the toy. And the next one says, the elf paints the rocking horse. What do you think might come first? Let me see. I think you first have to build the rocking horse before you can do anything else, right? What do you think? Right? So this one, I think, comes first. Okay, now, does the elf hammer the nails into the pieces? Does he finish building the toy? Or does he paint the rocking horse? What do you think? He's got to build it, right? So in order to build it, he has to hammer in the nails. So this one, I think, comes next. Okay, let's see. The elf is finished with the toy, or the elf is painting the rocking horse. Which one do you think comes next? There's a word in there that should tell you when it's finished, it's finished. So we can't do that one. So the elf has to paint the rocking horse. So that word finish means that he's all done. So that is the last picture. Whoopsie. So this one goes at the end. So now let's read our story. Ready? The elf puts the pieces of the rocking horse together. The elf hammers the nails into each piece. The elf paints the rocking horse, and the elf has finished building the toy. Pretty good, right? That is called sequencing, because you can't do something before another thing gets done, right? Like cooking, you follow a recipe. You have to follow the instructions so that you know what comes next. Can't go out of order. You can't eat your dinner before you cook it. That doesn't make any sense, right? You first have to cook it and mix it, and then you can eat it. That's called sequencing. It's pretty cool, right? So we learned about the animals and where they live in the Arctic Ocean by the mountains, or in the water, or on the icy beach. And we learned about sequencing, putting the story in order so that we know what comes next. And we listened to a really nice story that I really liked. I hope you liked it too. So I hope you guys had a good time, and I will see you again. And I will come up with more fun things for us to do. Make sure you stay warm and you stay healthy. And of course, if you ever need any help, you ask your mommies and daddies or your older brothers and sisters or someone there that can help you. Bye, guys. See you soon.